You are now tuned into the sounds of Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime.
I don't know if I'm okay. I don't see the light of day. Looking up to higher ground, thinking that'll be your sweet escape. These days gotta schedule the romance. They say that love is a slow dance. A short bike ride to the crib using no hands. Oh shit, it feel like I'm floating, but I'm falling with both eyes closed when I let the world spin. Testing the water, she got my nerves tense. Back when I ain't even have a purpose, I was so eager to learn some things. Anxiety bring out the worst in me. Society paint me as enemy. My niggas making it by that remedy. I'm more occasional, don't do it regularly. Backs under my eyes, weighing down heavily. Mama been worried, the devil allegedly deep in the plan. Subconsciously wanted it since I was 10. I thought I was sharp on my scroll and my pen think it did. So mama found shit of them legs. She told me that's not who I am. But nowadays I put on for the fam, see it when I can. I'm surrounded by my feelings, I'm stuck on a Ferris wheel. I bet I perish with 140 acres. She wants the horse and the carriage, a porcelain portion of garbage. I talk to the mirror, I know that life's not the fairest. I lost my can, I can't pay off the bills with the blessing. I'm sure I relate to the Reddit page. It's feeling like money is everything. Money is everything.
Then you won't get spoken to. People only see you when you up, then they notice you. Trying to be a legend, create lines that's quotable. Only the real shall last, and I only know a few. People when they feelings always acting emotional. Ain't about a check, then it ain't negotiable. Gotta show respect to the people that's posting you. Soon to be on posters posted up like the older dudes.
Now we aging like fine wine, how we supposed to do. Peep the shade on the timelines, the time posted cool. Shit is black and white like photos from a disposable. Certain situations you ain't end up uncontrollable. All up in their head, I be so confused. I just brush it off, peep the shoulder moves. We all got the same 24, so it's no excuse. Switch it up, we could rap or produce the things you can't have.
You are now tuned in to Big Nate Sports Talk, the show that's on all the time, anytime. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for all content. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host, Nathan Snell. Bring your sports game with Big Nate Sports Talk.
Thank you, Anthony Handy. I appreciate that lovely intro, sir. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host, Nathan Snell of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. Hope you're all having a wonderful evening. Hope the weekend's going great. Happy December. We're one less than almost a month, and 2022 is over. I can't believe that. But before we get into the video, there's a few things I'll just say up front. As you see in the title, in this episode, we are talking, this is episode 13, season 12 of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. I forgot to say that. My apologies. In this episode, we are talking the WNBA. The schedule has been released for the 2023 season. But before we get into that, there's a few things I'd like to say up front. I got some videos coming down the pipe for you guys. I have rescheduled the NFL Mock Draft 1.0 draft. That'll be tomorrow's episode. WNBA Mock Draft 1.0, that'll be Tuesday. I'm going to try to get the Washington Commanders and the Denver Broncos, Baltimore Ravens recaps out this evening, and we are behind a little bit with Maryland basketball. The women got their butt whooped painfully by Nebraska.
How do you do that? How do you do that? What the hell is going on?
However, the men, they did win Friday against Illinois. So that makes me a little happy. But this weekend it's been a little crazy today. The Ravens did beat the Broncos, should have lost. That game was embarrassing to watch. And then the Washington Commanders and the Giants went to overtime and tied. So this has really not been a good week. I'm looking to being provoked. And then also finding out today that we have to play NC State in the Mayo Bowl. Not looking forward to that. Should be interesting. But those are the episodes that are coming down the pipe, ladies and gentlemen. But with that being said, actually, I forgot to create an intro for this young man. He has been on here a couple times. We've talked women's basketball. He was very key with breaking down the playoffs with me this past playoffs for the WNBA. And he is making his return. He reached out to me actually, and he was like, "Hey, the schedule has been released. Let's talk about this." And I said, "Hey, let's do it. We were supposed to do it yesterday, but conflicting time schedule." So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm bringing back the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Brenden Potts himself. Brenden, welcome back, buddy. How's it going?
Yeah, we back. I'm doing great. I'm ready to chop it up. I got some good stuff for the schedule release. So thanks for having me back.
Appreciate it. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, as we talked about it, the 2023 WNBA schedule has been released. It's a couple of things that stood out to me with the schedule. This year is a little different. We have now 40 games on the schedule. This is year number 27. Tip-off will be on Friday, May 19th, and the season will end Sunday on September 10th, if I saw that correctly. Couple things. Biggest issue, I'm just going to get out the way. Disappointment about the schedule is that this is the year where the ladies must return on time, or they can risk being suspended for the whole year. The prioritization rule is now taken in effect per their CBA, which they agreed to back in 2020. That's my only riff about this schedule. There's no Olympics, there's no FIBA World Cup, so that kind of makes it easier. My biggest concern as well is for what I saw last year with the Sparks, with the Mystics, flight delays, flight cancellations, that is going to be a problem for me. And I'm going to give you the floor, Brenden. Do you see any biggest disappointments regarding the schedule?
Yeah, I actually concur with some of those. I mean, it's going to be a headache for the travel and the flight delays and stuff that I think some of the players are going to voice their opinions over during the season. So that's a good take on that. Mine goes more into free agency when it comes to Seattle. We got the schedule coming out end of November, and then free agency a couple months later, January, February, that time of year. And what's interesting is when the Storm social media released the schedule, they used Breanna Stewart as a graphic, and they used her multiple times throughout the entire promotion of the schedule, but they just didn't. Teams put out commercials or videos promoting the schedule, and they used Mercedes Russell, which I think if they used Breanna Stewart, it would have been a step too far. Breanna Stewart's not contractually obligated to the Seattle Storm right now. She's a free agent, so she's not tied to the Seattle Storm as of this podcast. But I see this schedule release and this promotion as a sign that Breanna Stewart's options are, or Breanna Stewart's choices for herself are either the Storm or sit out because of the prioritization clause. I don't think she goes anywhere else. And I think this is a big tell that that shows that she's not going anywhere else. Sorry to any Liberty fans that really want her to come. And so that's my biggest takeaway. Nothing really big except they don't play. This is the first year that since I've been a fan that they don't play on my birthday. So that's kind of disappointing. I was kind of looking forward to that, but no, nothing really big. We open against the defending champions in Vegas, and we just go on from there with 3 straight home games. I will note that this is the first year we're playing without Sue Bird, and it's not gonna feel real until we step out on the court, and it's gonna be real, and it's gonna be real heartbreaking when we see that. But outside of that, nothing really big sticks out to me on the Storm side.
For the Mystics, we open up against the New York Liberty that Friday night, May 19th. I don't know what that Mystic team will look like with head coach after 20 years. Coach T announced his retirement. I was a part of that Zoom call. His son Eric will take over as head coach. Mike is moving to the front office role, which means LaToya Saunders has been promoted. I'm hoping to see a different Mystic team. I don't expect to see the same team I saw this year on the floor, this past season on the floor for next year. And especially having the 4th overall pick, that really hurts our chances of getting Leah Boston.
These are legitimate questions.
And,
I don't have answers. I'm starving for answers.
Praying for Diamond Miller
because I don't have them
to be a Washington Mystic.
so disgusted.
So
because I got to be out there at that game this Saturday. I got to see this. Inquiring minds want to know why. I truly do want to know why.
I was gonna ask how it was being on that Zoom call with Coach T retiring, because we haven't talked about any of the coaching changes yet.
It was cool. I was able to ask Eric and Mike a question. They had someone else that was in the front that's part of the front office that's getting promoted. Everyone asked her. I forgot her name off the top of my head. I'm sorry. Everyone asked her questions. But I just really want to know more from Eric, the philosophy coach that he's looked up to get him to this point. There was really no crying. There was nothing like that. I think everybody knew this for quite some time, that he was getting ready to retire. So congratulations to Mike. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer in my book, arguably one of the greatest coaches of all time. He's where no matter Connecticut, Washington, he's made both franchises relevant in my book. But I'm curious to see what the Mystics will look like under Eric, because I still see Mike's fingerprints on this team. So
I think first of all, Coach T, amazing coaching career, and he's a Hall of Famer for sure. So I got to give props up to him. But I think with the whole coach, there's been a bunch of coaching changes with other teams, Connecticut, LA, and other teams around the league. I find it very, very, very interesting that Noel Quinn and more importantly, Pokey Chapman did not move. And both are presumably staying in Seattle. And I love both moves. Even though I truly believe Pokey will be a head coach in the W someday, I'm very happy both of them are staying in Seattle.
Lucky. When I look at the schedule, it's interesting that the last Sunday of the season, seedings are all on the line. So everyone is playing that last day. So I do expect most of those games to be on ESPN, ABC. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how the schedule is going to look. Now, as far as the All-Star game, it will be on a Saturday in July. I'm hoping it's a little bit better than what it was this past All-Star break. I thought they could have did a lot better because a lot of people, for example, the committee, shout out to the committee, they had some boots on the ground, and the first two events gave AAU vibes, and a lot of people were turned off by that. So we'll see how it looks. But I think, go ahead, Brendan.
Sorry, I was gonna say I feel like the All-Star game this past season was the whole thing was planned like the week that it was supposed to happen. I feel like it was all just like planned last minute, and that probably may or may not be the case. I don't know on that front, but I just feel like seeing the eye test or having the eye test, it just felt like it was planned the week that it was supposed to happen. So
right. And I mean, while we're on things, let's just get into. You talked about it with the 5 head coaches. I mean, the cat is out of the bag. Connecticut, Dallas, Indiana, Los Angeles, and then Washington. Obviously, we were surprised with Connecticut. No, I wasn't surprised that they moved on from Kurt Miller, and they brought in former WNBA player Stephanie White. That was actually an interesting Zoom call. I did not ask any questions. They answered all the questions before I have my hand up. Kurt Miller has gotten that team to the WNBA finals twice. I think he felt it was time for him. I think he wanted somebody else to lead that group. And Stephanie White, I think, is the perfect fit. Yes, she did lead Purdue to an NCAA title in '99. She was also head coach at Indiana. I didn't think Vanderbilt was a good basketball program at that time. I think there were some things that were beyond her control. My question for her as the head coach for Connecticut is she the head coach that can lead Connecticut to their first title in franchise history? My question is I don't know what Brianna Jones, whether she'll stay or she'll move on or take a pay cut, because the window for this group is closing. So that's my only concern with this hiring, because it's like it gives me Billy Donovan the year he replaced Scott Brooks in Oklahoma City with Durantes and Russell Westbrook. So, your thoughts?
I find that hire by Connecticut very interesting. I think when I saw that Kurt Miller left Connecticut, I was shocked. I was given I can't remember the team that went to the finals last season, but they lost their head coach, and then they I think that was I'm trying to think. I don't think it was Vegas, but
Chicago.
No, I think not Chicago. No, they went to
Washington.
Washington. Yeah. So, I mean, no, I'm getting off track here, but no, Connecticut. I think that's very interesting. I think it's gonna work out because a woman is coaching that team. I think that team would be better coached by a woman than Kurt Miller. I'm very interested to see how Kurt Miller does in Los Angeles, and I think the Agumake sisters stay. I think I'm buying into if one stays, then the other does. So if one stay or if one decides to stay or go, then the other is going to go. That's what I firmly believe. But
yeah, I agree.
I remember my first reaction to seeing Kurt Miller go to Los Angeles, and I said, man, what if Wiz Cambay stayed in LA? That would have been just so. Because think of the personalities on that team just mixing up and just it would have been a shit show in Los Angeles. But
No.
no,
I mean, I don't think it was a good signing, really, honestly, in the first place. I think it was Derek Fisher just trying, like Lakers last year, just putting all this talent and there's no chemistry. No, that just was not a good signing. That was Derek Fisher not being a good GM.
yeah, I agree. And I think that's ultimately why he was let go, was because he was not a good GM and he just wasn't a serviceable head coach. But
Yeah.
I a team like Los Angeles with the dumpster fire that they have, they need a championship. I'm not saying a championship minded head coach like Kurt Miller, like you said, has brought this team to the finals and or brought Connecticut to the finals and made multiple playoff appearances, just trying to get over the hump with Connecticut. And I think that's the experienced leader that Connecticut, or I'm sorry, that Los Angeles needs.
Sure. I agree with that. Washington, after he retired on the 15th, head coach, Coach T, Eric's taken over. I know his daughter coaches at Fairfield University, and I mean, my only question on the hiring is him creating his own identity, especially on this championship window. It's not getting any younger. I've kind of said it for a couple years. I think they need to just rebuild because Atlanta's not getting any younger, and I already kind of know what to expect. We don't have we're not going to get a Leah Boston. We probably get someone like Elizabeth Carley, Kitley, I'm sorry, or Ashley Jones or Diamond Miller if they're there. That's probably who they're going to draft. Leah Boston's not. It's going to be the number one overall pick, and the Fever are going to pick her. We're going to take her without a shot of a doubt. I mean, they think he's best fit for the job, and I'm with it. So he's definitely got a lot of time to prepare. I mean, I would have liked to know were there other options, but I think he's the best fit. I'll say that.
Yeah, I agree. I think Boston is going to go to the Fever. I think she's going number one. I think Indiana's onto something with this rebuild here, and I said this to a few people during the season. Indiana is a team that needs to develop their players like Seattle is doing. Seattle had a veteran team that was led by Sue Bird. She stayed there for 20 years. But they built through the draft and they built through that helped them with free agency and getting players. Indiana has some promise, and they're not currently good. They've struggled the last few years, but they have players. They're very young, and they have a team that has a lot of promise. They just need to develop and learn. And Christy Sides, I think, is a very good coach for them. And I think they made a good hire here. Well, I don't have any expectations for them during the season, but if they're gonna pick up some wins and surprise some people, then I won't be one of them, because for me, that's the direction that they should go, is developing their talent and just waiting it out, because their time will come eventually.
Guaranteed.
I agree with that. I think they can, so that they can rebuild but compete at the same time. I think they have some of the pieces that they have now. I still think, in my opinion, I thought there's a couple reaches on last year's draft. I thought Lexi Hall was, in my opinion, a reach. I thought Destiny Henderson should have been a first round pick. I thought Nia Clouden. There were some other options, but I'm not saying Lexi Hall's not a great player. I just thought that was a reach. But I'm conflicted because I don't think like they have Nalissa Smith and Queen Enegbo. Like I can't see a front court. I mean, you have 3 front court players. I feel like they're going to take a guard or a wing player. Something is giving me those vibes. Something's saying Leo Boss is not going to Indiana because it just doesn't. The makeup of their team, like Kelsey Mitchell. I think they need a point guard. Well, you have Destiny, Emily Inksler, Melissa Smith, Queen Enegbo, Aaliyah Boston. I don't know that. I'm curious to see what Lynn Dunn does on draft night. Something just gives me just Aaliyah Boston is like the second overall pick vibe. Something's giving me those vibes. I'm sorry.
That's bold, man. That's bold. I mean, she's the best player on the board. Like,
I mean, no, I'm not. No question. I'm just saying. It just.
I get it on the fit side, but like, there's sometimes where you just got to take the number 1 player on the board.
I agree, and I'm just saying Indiana's just giving me some weird vibes because they have 4 first-round picks, and you took practically 3 front court players. That's just me. With Dallas, I was not surprised. They were going to let Vicki Johnson go. I really thought, in my opinion, I thought it was best. I mean, 32 and 36 record. I thought there was some progress. I was surprised that Vicki Johnson went before the GM. There's some questions I have going forward. We talked about this, paying Tierra McCowan, Marina Mabry, the health of Statu Sabli, Rika Gumbawale, Kayla Thornton. I mean, there's a lot of questions on that Dallas Wing team for next year. I like Latricia Trammell. I think she's a good hire. She's more of an X's and O's coach. She's known for building good chemistry. I feel like, she's from that area. I think it's like Texas, Oklahoma. So I think she's won 2 NAI championships, if I'm not saying that correctly. So she knows the area. She knows the community. I think she's going to build a good rapport with her players. I think that the biggest question for me with Dallas is it's a lot of young talent, and they have to start making the league and its critics respect them. And I thought last year was the start, but they got to be consistent. And I felt like some of the things that were happening, when your star player is antics, and key pivotal moments of the game. I kind of also felt like Vicky lost the locker room, in my opinion. So I'm curious to see what this hiring will look like. And I mean, that's pretty much all the hirings for the moment. It'd be interesting to really see what these 5 teams, these 5 new head coaches are going to look like. I think they'll all do fine. I wish them all well. As we transition, let's pick out some games from the schedule. What are you looking forward to the biggest surprise? I know you touched on it. You guys start off your tip off against Las Vegas. rematch of the conference the semifinals. You won't have Sue Bird there. Is there anyone else on the schedule that sticks out?
I mean, not really anything big. I think the first, if indeed Breanna Stewart comes back to Seattle, I think July 8th is going to be a big circle on your calendar for both fan bases. We play the New York Liberty in New York. And I know besides Seattle, Liberty fans are Breanna Stewart's biggest fans and biggest advocates for bringing her there. We have June 8th or 9th, June 9th and June 11th are our games against the Mystics. Those are both home games, so hopefully we get to play EDD and Stewie gets to match up against her. Those are always fun games to watch, and I always love watching Elena Deladon play. So I mean, nothing really big outside of that. I think that's a better question to ask after free agency ends.
I agree. Without free agency, it's kind of really hard to tell what these teams will look like. I will say one I have circled on my radar is the Phoenix Mercury versus the Lynx. This is the first year Sylvia Fallows will not be part of the Lynx, and like Sue Bird, it's going to be different. She's not on that floor. This is the first time Minnesota's missed the playoffs since 2010. Nafisa Collier, we all know she's going to come back, after her maternity leave. It's going to be kind of different. Interesting to see what these teams will look like. Brittany Griner has been moved to a penal colony in Russia, continuing to pray for a safe return as she's being wrongfully detained, and I'm hoping that she'll be home soon. Skylar Diggins Smith, should be back on the floor. I know she is due to have her second child. Congratulations, Skylar, on that. And do not know what it's going to look like for DT down at Taurasi. So that Phoenix Mercury team is definitely going to be interesting to watch, to see this upcoming year, and also the Lynx.
Can I add? I know you're talking about the Mercury in the Lynx, but also want to say congratulations to Dearica Hamby for having her kid probably before the season starts, if not during the season. But big congratulations to her, and props to her for freaking playing, not much, but playing during while being pregnant. Like that's insane. And I saw a quote. I can't remember who she was talking to, but she was talking to one of her players on Twitter, saying like, "Oh, you were there for me while we were or while I was throwing up in Seattle." I'm like, "Damn, she's been pregnant for that long?" Because we played Vegas.
Yeah, she did. She talked about it on Twitter Space.
Yeah, right. in like August or something. I'm like, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
big
a lot of people speculated. Yeah, so congratulations to her as well, Dearica Hamby. Shout out to Dearica Hamby. I mean, other than that, I mean, it's really kind of hard to know really what to really truly circle. I mean, I could say the Mystics versus the Chicago Sky on the 26th of May, but I don't know what that team will look like against Chicago. So, I mean, I think this is it's a good start. And I think that these are going to be some good games this year. But for me, I definitely can see the Chicago Sky, the Connecticut Sun. That is going to be must-see TV, because watching the Chicago Sky choke 2 home games to allow Connecticut to advance to the finals. Yeah, that's definitely going to be something. But Indiana, if you're in Minnesota Lynx, I'm just going to hold off on that to the mock draft. I really am, because I just can't see. Something just gives me these Aaliyah Boss is not going to Indiana vibes. It's not because I understand she's number one on paper. It's like I have number 1 overall pick. I'm just looking at what Indiana is constructing. That's just me. I'm sorry. I just don't. Something's just giving me this. She's not going to be drafted by Indiana. Something's just giving me that.
What if they draft her and then bring her up off the bench? Because I think if with a young team like Indiana, you have like time to like develop her and teach her the league and what it's all about.
I mean, I agree with that, but I'm just saying you drafted 3 front court players last year. So one of them is going to have to take a role off the bench. I mean, don't get me wrong. I could see, I see her being called as number 1 overall pick. It's just, I think for my concern is it's now you need to be looking else after her in terms of front court. Like you need to look on the wing, a point guard, shooting guard. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just me. As far as the Commissioner's Cup, from what I'm understanding, that is also coming back, and from the 19th through the July 12th, May 19th, each team will play at least 1 home game and run 1 road game against each of its 5 conference rivals. The first road and home game are counted as cup games, and the Commissioner's Cup will be on the 15th. I'm hoping it is not on Amazon Prime this year. Let's please put that on ESPN or ABC. That's just me. Yeah.
Yeah, don't put the Commissioner's Cup on there, but keep all Storm games on there, please. That worked out well for me last season, but yeah, just don't put it on. If you're gonna promote it that big, don't put it on Amazon Prime.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. But that's actually going to transition us into our final subject for the night, and that is final message.
Incoming message.
Thoughts are running through my mind, so I took some time to find a minute or two to organize.
I'm giving you the final floor, sir. Tell us about what Washington State's looking like this year.
Yeah, so if you guys didn't know, I'm a student at Washington State. That is located in Pullman, Washington. And our football team just got named to the Los Angeles Jimmy Kimmel Bowl against Fresno State. We play on December 17th at 12:30. This is our 7th straight consecutive bowl. So congratulations to them, and huge accomplishment. I'm looking forward to that game. And then our men's basketball team, we just lost a 2-point game in overtime. That puts our record at sorry, give me 1 second. That puts our record at 3-4 on the season. 0-2 in conference play. This is a young team. Our standard is we haven't made the NCAA tournament in a fat minute, so that's the goal, is to make the NCAA tournament. That would be a big accomplishment for this program, and we got a lot of good prospects. Muhammad Gay is a big prospect that'll be in the draft pretty shortly, if not this upcoming draft, then the year after. But he's getting really really close to getting on that level. And then on the women's side, our women's basketball team, they are a different story, and it's a more positive story. They have made the NCAA tournament for the second straight year this past season, after not making it for 30 years. They have made it 2 years in a row, and they are going for a third straight this season. I've been following them more this season. And on the season, we are 6-1. We have not played our first conference game yet. That will be this Sunday against UW in Seattle. I think I really like this women's basketball team. We lost a lot of talent last season, but we got good talent this season to keep us afloat. And people, I think it's very interesting because people always count us out. 2 years ago, when we made the tournament for the first time, we were pegged to finish last in the Pac-12. We finished, I believe, 6th or somewhere around there. And then last year we were pegged to finish 6th in the Pac-12, and we finished 3rd. This year we're being counted out again. We're being predicted to finish. I believe it was 7th, if not 6th, in the Pac-12. And I just don't see it. I just don't see how we could be or finish that low. There's a lot of talent in the Pac-12. When it comes to women's basketball, it's the best conference in the nation, and I think we'll finish top 5. I don't see how we're not going to be top 5 in the Pac-12. So I really hope for this team that we can do 3 straight NCAA tournament appearances, and then the next goal after that is winning a tournament game. So that rounds out all the sports going on at Washington State. But that's kind of what I've been focusing on nowadays.
Guarantee.
You said top 5 in the Pac-12?
Yeah, they finished 3rd last year. I don't know what the problem is. They tied for 2nd. They tied for 2nd against Oregon. If we don't lose we lost by 50 against Oregon, and it was just not our day. I was at that game. It was not our day. The players woke up after that, and we strung out a good few wins before Selection Sunday. But no, if we conference play is going to be huge for us, and we I don't know if you're keeping up with women's college basketball, but
I mean, yeah, it's there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to rely on the conference because these non-conference teams.
So South Dakota State, they just played in a tournament. I think it was the Hawaii one. They just beat Louisville. Okay.
Yes, they did. Mm-hmm.
They beat Louisville. This Washington State team, this team that I'm talking about, they beat South Dakota State this past Sunday by 20. They just beat her by either Friday or Sunday. They just beat them by 20. And I said coming into that game, that's our biggest non-conference game, and it's our biggest non-conference win. And it sticks because we don't really have that much appealing non-conference games left besides that one.
You guys play Montana, I think.
We just
right?
beat Montana on Friday.
So they rescheduled it. It's not this upcoming Wednesday?
No, I believe that's the men's team, but or that might be the men's team. But no, our women's team just beat them on this past Friday by 20.
Okay.
And any last thing on like the preview of our team, any like prospects that you want to keep an eye on, or like WNBA prospects you want to possibly keep an eye on? 2024, Charlize Ledger Walker. Know the name, recognize the name, because she, I believe, out of our entire roster, she will be the only one that doesn't use her COVID year because this girl's going to go pro.
Let me put a guarantee on that one.
Guarantee.
Yeah, know the name. No, Charlize Ledger Walker. Know the name.
Okay.
She is she's our star player, and she's damn good, dude. And she gets better every game, and she the rest of the team is good too, but this girl is special.
I hear you. I'm sorry, I misspoke. You guys play Portland this Wednesday. My apologies. You guys play Washington. Oh wow, Sunday, and you've got Jackson State. You guys should. These are very winnable games, honestly. The USC one is Oregon, Utah, UCLA. Ugh.
Yeah, this
Stanford
going to be very fun.
It's looking better than Maryland's. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, this Pac-12 is going to be very fun, and as long as honestly, the only team that I'm shaking at when it comes to the Pac-12, the only team that I'm shaking out of my boots is either Utah or Stanford, maybe Oregon. I'm not quite worried about them anymore since they.
Yeah, Oregon's not. Yeah, they're not really the same powerhouse team.
Yeah. But I want to point out also that I'm not worried about Arizona. I'm not worried about them.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I say the same thing for Maryland. Only school I'm concerned about really is Connecticut and Ohio State, maybe Iowa. Everybody else, I said 3 schools.
Yeah,
Ohio State, Connecticut, and then Iowa.
I watched both of those teams play actually this past weekend, and they're fun to watch. They are very fun to watch. UConn is a good team, but they're a sneaky elite defensive team. They may not have the shooters that they do without Paige, and I think AZ got hurt today.
Yeah, she might be out for a minute, but she'll be all right.
And Dorka as well. They may not have the shooters with those girls out, but they got the defense.
Yeah,
and they can play. And Duke's a good team, and they creamed them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then Iowa, I saw them play as well. They actually played Oregon State, and they're a team that's going to go as far as Caitlin Clark can take them. But with that being said, Caitlin Clark is a sight to watch.
Yes, she is.
She is a player to watch, man. It's so fun to watch her play.
Yeah, she's on my radar for, is it not next year, the year after?
No, 2024. Yeah.
She's going to be number 1 overall pick, without a shadow of a doubt.
Guaranteed.
I agree.
Because her skill set, a WNBA team will love to have a player like her on her team.
She's pro ready right now.
Please come to the Mystics, Caitlin, please.
I know. I said, can Sue Bird wait 1 or 2 years and then we tank for either Paige or Caitlin? Yeah,
when the two of them come out, it's going to be interesting. But I would like to see. I think Aaliyah Boston's definitely. I'm not going to ignore her. She's definitely make her noise in the league. I think Aaliyah Boston will win Rookie of the Year and will be an all-star. Hell, I'll even say Aaliyah Boston will be an MVP candidate.
Guaranteed.
In 2 years or this year?
This year, when she comes out.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm putting a stamp on that one.
Okay, but it's not with a fever.
It could be. I again, when you tune in for the mock draft 1.0, like just look at the makeup of their roster. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, I'm logically, Aaliyah Boston's number 1 overall pick without a shadow of a doubt. I'm looking at their roster. Like you could take, a Elizabeth Jones or a Kitley. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's just me. So
yeah.
But we all know it's game over.
Game over, yeah!
So, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, that's going to conclude the episode. Be tuned in for future episodes. Brenden, appreciate you joining me again. I left your Twitter in the description below. Please give Brenden Potts a follow on Twitter. Thank you for tuning in. We're gonna do this again, probably with free agency hits. Because that's definitely going to be a moneymaker. Because I'm really curious to see what free agency is going to look like. But yeah, man, appreciate you being on the show this evening. Best of luck. Finals is going on, so best of luck as we all prepare for final exams. This has to be the roughest part of college. Goodness. And then Christmas, and then the new year. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll have these episodes out. The Ravens and the Commanders. We had to recap that painfully. And then I have to recap Maryland. The ladies getting their butt whooped to Nebraska. And then also at the same time having to recap the men beating Illinois. So I'll get all those episodes out this evening. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, please like, comment, subscribe. Again, I left Brendan's Twitter in the description below. Brenden will be back on here at free agency, and we may even have him on here. No, not might. We will have him back on here. We are getting ready for March Madness for the women's basketball. We will have him back on here. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, peace.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode and you want to see more content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bring your sports game on Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime.
Thank you. And you help me retain my sanity. Thank you. I want to thank you. And I want to thank you. All I want to do is say thank you for everything.